fans, thanks for calling the RENEE Rose Report. Had a caller on the info line, the 317-335-4688 number. That's you want to check it out. 3 options on there. Anyway, I had a caller on the phone. He was all upset about last Monday's Raw. He hated that Vicky got thrown in the mud pit. He thought while Stephanie and her was in the ring that there should have been a new member of the first member of the Kiss My Ass Stephanie Club. Couldn't agree more. Anyway, notes from last night's TNA taping in New York City went this way. The Manhattan Center's in-house staff and production facility, by the way, uses in conjunction with TNA production staff. It's one of the reasons TNA tapes there, because the venue does a lot of TV productions. Then they don't have to mess with them and pay other people. But there were no video screens up, and that's kind of handy for some of the talent too, because they use the Titantron, their video screen and stuff, to see what's going on behind them, to see kind of out of the corner of their eye, you know, if somebody's doing a run-in. Or... But anyway, there's no video screens there, and TNA used a crane camera and several handheld cameras to film with. So TNA, whenever those tapings are done and get put out on the Thursday night show, it's going to probably look a little bit different. I'm kind of interested just to see if it'll make it a little bit better. TNA really likes the building, I guess. Mike Tenay, he wasn't there, and he and Taz will do commentary in a post-production location. Hector Guerrero and Willie Urbine, they were there and did the Spanish commentary. Bully Ray, Tommy Dreamer, Al Snow, Pat Kenny worked as agents. Jason Hervey worked as a producer, and some of the Dreamer's House of Hardcore students, they worked the taping in different roles to help out with logistics and stuff. Abyss, he was backstage but wasn't used. Not sure why. But TNA's 6-sided ring that they're now using is a new purchase. The old rings, I guess they were already been converted into a traditional ring, so didn't want to convert them back. And word coming out of the taping that we may see a little less of the backstage segments and more focus on what's happening in front of the crowd, which I like that better anyway, because the way TNA always did it, they always had the camera kind of sneaking around, eavesdropping, and Anyway, the taping was not sold out. Word is between 550 and 650 fans were in attendance, and the second taping went on. Many fans, they were seen leaving during the last hour, which I do that when I'm watching on TV too. If they don't have something to really catch me to make me hang on. Now, the release of Josh Matthews, the announcer at WWE, came a big surprise to most people in WWE. Matthews, his release was a part of the ongoing budget cuts, though. WWE's been making cuts in each department. Apparently, Matthews was at the top of or bottom of the list for the announcers. So they're cutting across the board, I guess. And Hogan, he appeared on Boston radio show this week to promote some upcoming autograph shows, and said that WWE should film Legend's house at his restaurant in Tampa. When the host had brought up the TNA Slammiversary that took place in Boston, Hogan quickly changed the subject. He's on another channel now, by the way. Anyway, noted before this year that WWE had signed indie wrestler Steven Walders to a developmental deal, and his new ring name now is Dash Wilder. And WWE Hall of Famer Edge tweeted the following about the name change. He says, "So it sounds like Dash Wilder is born in TNA or NXT. He's a knock 'em dead kid. Must know him, I guess." Former WWE announcer Jack Capella tweeted about the possibility of a reunion of former WWE star Kurt Hawkins, which his name is really Brian Meyer, and Tyler Rex, which is Gabe Tough. I like that last one. Should have kept Rex. I guess it was all right. Anyway, Hawkins teased that it's been discussed them two get back together, but Hawkins and Rex teamed together in 2011 and part of 2012 while in WWE. And it's now, I like this, WWE is now billing Stephanie as the principal owner of World Wrestling Entertainment instead of one of the principal owners. When it comes to Vince McMahon, there is some significance in the small change of wording. So he don't want people to read into things. And with plans falling through a month ago for Vince McMahon to return to TV in time for WrestleMania 30 storyline, the impression was given that while Vince will appear on TV when he has to get ratings up, he believes, such a tribute to, you know, a documentary or something like that. But the Mr. McMahon character has been retired for the time being, and Stephanie will now be the McMahon owning the company on TV. So he's kind of stepping aside. And also Michelle McCool, she was at the Performance Center on Monday, and she was indeed working out with the developmental divas. And McCool and Undertaker previously spent time at the Performance Center, which I mentioned about a year ago. I think it was back in September. And as far as we know, Taker, he wasn't there. And the payoffs, this is what people have been waiting on. The payoffs from WrestleMania 30 should be coming in a few weeks, and these are the first payoffs, you know, since the network launch. Talent still don't know what they're going to be getting paid and going into, you know, being structured, and if they will be paid just on a pay-per-view buys, or if the pay takes network revenue into account. They don't know, but either way, both will be down from recent weeks, or rather recent years. I don't know how much, but just too bad that the cable companies wouldn't, all of them, well, I think they did all carry the WrestleManias, but it's just awful they won't carry the other things, the bastards. Anyway, some of the WWE recent attendance figures, and I think they were, when they were in town here, they did about 8,000. June 20th, Providence, Rhode Island was 8,000. Long Island was 5,000. Reading, Pennsylvania, 3,000. Philadelphia drew about 7,000. Newark, Delaware, I believe, 2,000. And Washington, D.C. for Raw drew about 9,500. And as seen on this week's main event, Roman Reigns was being interviewed by in the ring by announcer Renee Young, when Reigns suggested that she take off her high heels, because if someone came, you know, out to attack him, she would need to run in a hurry. This was done as a rib on Renee. It's known within WWE that Renee often doesn't wear shoes when she's working backstage. Renee was previously ribbed for this by Triple H last month on a host show. She always wants to be ready to run. Can't run or jog too much in heels, but some try. All right, happy birthday to Hall of Famer J.J. Dillon, 72 years old, two-time WCW Tag Team Champion. But remember Mark Jindrak? He was in WWE for 2 or 3 minutes. 37. Chick Fight 8 winner Wesna Busick, 31, and former WWF wrestler and famed trainer, Pretty Boy Larry Sharp, 64 years old. And if you know who Larry Sharp is from years ago, where the Pretty Boy came from, I don't know. Former WWE announcer Matt Striker, 40 years old, two-time AAA wrestler Lady Apache, 44. And on this day in 1992, the wrestling world lost the first WWF World Champion, Buddy Rogers, at the age of 71 years old. Thanks for clicking, you guys. I gotta go.